So Alicia Hulten, or AKA Librarian Alicia,
Yeah, that's great.
is a youth services librarian, the City of Palo Alto Library, and has quite a following among parents and the under 3 or 4 community, and passionate about youth services in the public library setting and youth programming, with a whole bunch of things like readers advisories, collections development, and outreach. There's a sensory story time geared to non-neurotypical children, and other programs that celebrate cultural observances, such as Lunar New Year. And so Librarian Alicia is reading from Jess French's book, What a Waste, a book on recycling for children, and gets them exposed to pollution, litter, and renewable energy and plastic recycling. So take it away. I will stop my share and you can.
Right. Okay. Hello, everyone. Thank you so much for coming to our wonderful program today. I'm so excited to be here and to read a story with you. I'm going to screen share in a minute. Before I do, I just wanted to say hello so everyone can see my face. As Dennis mentioned, I do have a big following, wonderful story times where families come and have a great time, sing songs, read a story. And that's what we're going to be doing today. We're going to read not a story, but we're going to read an informational book all about sustainability and what we could do to help the environment. And then we're going to sing a song or two. So we're going to jump right into our book that we're reading today. I'm going to share my screen. I want to show you the cover. It has such great photos in this book. Okay, so we're going to have a story time. Before we go, I wanted to let everyone know that there are 5 different libraries in Palo Alto. And, oh, hold on a second. Trying to go to the next slide, and it's not going. Let's see. Give me a second. Okay, just one moment. Okay, I'm going to share again. Thanks everyone for being so patient. Okay. Let me make my screen bigger. Okay. So we have 5 different libraries in Palo Alto City Library. We have one of them is Mitchell Park, and that's where I do story times on Saturdays. And then we have Children's Library. We have Saturday story times on Tuesdays and Wednesdays and Fridays at downtown. So today we're going to read a book called What a Waste, written by Jess French. Jess French is so many. She's a doctor. She's a conservationist. She's a TV host. She has a TV show called Mini Beast Adventure with Jess. And she's an author of this book and many others. And she's a veterinarian, which is a doctor that takes care of animals, which is super cool. So today we're going to jump into this amazing book called What a Waste, Trash, Recycling, and Protecting Our Planet. And it's really cool. On the bottom part of the book, you can see it says, I'm made with responsibly sourced materials and soy ink. So that's cool. We're kind of reusing materials to create the book. And that's what we're going to read about today. The publisher is DK, and Jess French has written several other books. One of them is called The Book of Brilliant Bugs, Earth's Incredible Oceans, Protect the Planet, and It's a Wonderful World, and another one called Pets and Their People, all published by DK. So you can come to the library and explore those books. This is called a nonfiction book. So not a story. So this book is filled with facts about Earth and how we can be more sustainable. We're going to jump in and talk about waste and the problem of waste. So what is waste? Waste is all the things that we throw away. Everything we do creates some kind of waste. It's part of our living, part of living our lives. It's important to make sure we don't create more waste than we absolutely have to. Did you know that we dump enough waste every year to fill a line of trucks going around the world 24 times? That is so much waste. Waste is also a problem for animals all over the world. The little picture of the seagull, sometimes we throw away plastics that get caught on animals, on sea turtles. So we have to be really careful about what we throw away and try to reuse materials. Plastic is an amazing material. It's tough, it's waterproof, durable, it lasts a long time. However, those same properties that make it durable and make it last a long time, it's very hard to get rid of plastic. So that's something to keep in mind when we're using plastic. Pollution. Oh, pollution is when something harmful gets into the environment and hurts animals, plants, and people. So we know there's soil pollution. So oils and chemicals can seep into the soil, and they get also washed away into the soil and end up in rivers and lakes and seas. There's water pollution in the ocean. So a major oil spill can happen and affect the local the habitat of the animals, the fish and the birds and all the animals that live in the ocean and at the seashore. We have air pollution, cars, all the cars on the road, the factories that produce all the emissions, they create toxic gases, and this can spread for hundreds of miles. They go through the air. Also, another type of pollution that we don't think about maybe is noise pollution. So when it's really loud, some animals, it can affect animals, and then it can affect humans as well. We don't sleep very well when there's a lot of noise pollution, and when we don't sleep, that affects our health. So, and then one more thing in the bottom left, right, light pollution. If there's too much light, it says that there's some turtles who mistake the light on the shore for the moonlight, and they go the wrong direction. So that's another thing that we have to be aware of. And it's kind of cool because sometimes I read library books, and even though I'm a grown-up, I learn new things all the time. And I didn't know about these newly hatched turtles. They mistake the lights for the moon's reflection on the water, and they go the wrong direction. So that was cool to learn, and something that we can keep in mind too. So we have resources. Our wonderful Earth has so many different resources. We're going to go through 4 of them today. This great graphic that was created in Jess's book. We're going to talk about fossil fuels. Those are like gas and coal. They're made from ancient remains of living things. Fossil fuels are burned to power vehicles. We use, gas for gasoline and fuel for airplanes, for trucks, for cars. And then we have water. There's a fixed amount of water on the Earth. We only have so much. The same amount of water exists now as it did when our planet was formed. Can you believe that? If you look at the faucet, I forgot to read that part. It says that planet is full of useful materials. From fresh water to glittering gold, these are called natural resources. We use them for so many things, it's hard to imagine we're without them. However, we need to be careful not to use them all up. Because they're finite, which means, if we use them up, there's not going to be any more resources. So we talked about fossil fuels and water. There's wood. Wood is an important material used to build houses, make furniture. There's pictures there. We use wood to make paper for books, wooden spoon. We get toilet paper is important. So wood is a very important natural resource. And then minerals. Minerals are in things that we use every day, like aluminum on our bike tire, or bike frame, sorry. We use bikes to go to school, to work. So there's aluminum in there. That's a natural resource. Quartz is used in glass making. So we use quartz for bottles and jars. And we can use those. Those are great reusable resources. And then tungsten doesn't melt easily. It's found in rockets, laptops, and X-ray machines. Pretty cool, right? So, oh, and it says an electronic tablet contains around 35 different minerals. So thank you, Earth, for giving us all of these minerals. We have to do a good job at making sure we don't use them all up and be aware of that. Some of you might know this, but there's an island of trash in the middle of the Pacific Ocean. When plastic gets washed into the sea, they clump it together and form this floating trash dump. Ocean water moves in kind of like a circular pattern with the currents. And so the trash kind of starts floating and it congregates together in the middle of the ocean. This is called the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. It's in the North Pacific Ocean. It's about 3 times the size of France, and it contains around 1.8 trillion pieces of trash. Not million, not billion, but trillion. So it's a huge collection of trash out there. It says the plastic in the GPGP, the Great Pacific Garbage Patch, weighs around the same as 500 jumbo jets. Could you imagine? Oh, it's huge. So we have to remember that, make sure that we keep, when we're throwing things away, we do it responsibly. And then it has the picture of the little fish. Microplastics in the sea never fully disappear, but only break down into smaller pieces of plastic less than 2. They're really tiny. I can't read that. I'm sorry. They're super tiny. And they're called microplastics. Fish and birds mistake them for food and eat them, which is really, that's bad. It says sea turtles, 74% of their diet is made up of ocean plastic because they're stuck around that great garbage patch. So they're eating the plastic, which is horrible for them and not great. That's not their natural diet. So we have to, when we throw things away, we have to be responsible and think about how we dispose of things, and can we reuse it? Can we upcycle this? Can I not use this plastic? Let's talk about waste that we make in our house. So everything we do creates waste. So we get takeaway from a restaurant, it comes in packaging. We buy our new clothes and our old clothes don't fit anymore, or we don't like the style. Many things can't be recycled, but we can make them into something new. We'll get to the author Jess has more there's more ahead in the book ahead about how we can reuse things, which is really cool. That's one of the things I love doing at the library. We have programs called STEAM Lab Saturday, and we have sewing programs where we take upcycled materials, and we make something new about them with them. Wow, around 24 million of slices of bread are thrown away from UK households every day. That's a lot of bread. Oh, I forgot to mention this book is a few years old. So it was published in 2019. And Jess is from the UK. So that's why she's referencing that. Okay, where does our trash go? To landfills. So the landfill is a massive trash pile. A long time ago, people used to just throw waste in the streets, and then we all realized that that wasn't healthy for our bodies and for the environment. So we began to move our waste out of the cities to landfill sites. And this picture is a great example of what a landfill looks like. And then on the very far right, there's Garbage Mountain. So Israel used to have a huge landfill called Urea, known as Garbage Mountain, but the site has now been transformed into Ariel Sharon Park. The mountain of trash was sealed with a layer of plastic, and on top of the plastic, they put gravel and soil so the plants can grow. So they took the landfill and made it into something better. Now other countries are doing the same thing with their old landfill sites, and then you can see the after picture. There's grass on there and plants, and it looks more beautiful. And then visitors can go and bike around and enjoy the trails. Cool. Single-use plastic. Uh-oh. We live in a disposable world. Half of all plastic items are used just once before being thrown away. We talked earlier about making the household trash that we make. Maybe we're using water bottles, plastic drink bottles for our water or our energy drinks, plastic cups when we have a party, milk jugs when we buy milk for our cereal, even, plastic toothbrushes and diapers, plastic cutlery, and then wrap, like saran wrap and packaging like that. So we can swap all those throwaway items and those single-use plastics for eco-friendly items. There's beeswax fabric that is coated in beeswax that you can wrap your produce in when you go to the store. You can use reusable diapers, wooden toothbrushes instead of plastic toothbrushes, and reusable bottles. Many of you probably bring to school reusable water bottles, which is great to use instead of the single-use plastic drink bottles. We can use paper or bamboo straws and metal cutlery instead of plastic. And then one of the things that we did for our program is we made a vegetable bag out of fabric. So we made a drawstring bag that you can bring to the grocery store and fill it with either, maybe if you go to a bulk store that sells pasta in bulk, you can put the pasta in your little drawstring fabric bag, bring it home and put it in these glass containers, or you can use it to put your apples in. Instead of using the bags at the grocery store, the plastic bags, you can make fabric tote bags, and we have those programs at the library, and we'll have them again in the future. And you can find DIY videos online to show you how to do that. We'll get to that again at the end. Oh, I'm going a different direction. Okay. Use less, waste less. Oh, this is what I wanted to talk about. Yes. So instead of buying a new bag, if you need a tote bag, you can take your old t-shirt, and this is a t-shirt you don't want anymore. We did a program like this a few months ago. You cut off your sleeves, you cut off the neckband, and then you sew across the bottom, or you tie a knot across the bottom. That's what they're doing in this photo. You cut strips and then tie them in knots, and you secure the bottom, and then you flip it inside out, and there you have a bag, and you didn't even need a sewing machine. So we did this for a teen program, we did it for an adult program, we did it for a family program. Very easy to do, and you're upcycling your old t-shirt, and you're not using any plastic tote bags, so that's fun to use. And you could double knot it, so it can really be heavy, and you can put heavy items in there like potatoes, something that's really heavy, and that works really well. So before you throw it away, think creatively and reuse it. Maybe you can use it for something else. A water bottle. If you have a plastic water bottle, you can cut the top off and use it as a planter, a bird feeder maybe, or a funnel. If you need a funnel, instead of buying a funnel, you can make your own. You can have a clothing swap with a friend. Maybe you both have clothes that you don't like anymore. You can have get together at the park and just bring your old clothes and maybe have a clothing swap. You can do that for like Halloween costumes if you celebrate Halloween. Instead of buying the costumes, you can do a swap with a friend. So very cool. Glass jars are awesome. And you can wash out. This is what I do at home. We have a pasta night, and we have a glass jar, and when we're done using it, we clean it out. It can be a terrarium. It can be a pencil holder, like you see in the picture. It could be, you can use it for a lot of different science experiments, for STEAM Lab Saturday in a couple months, we're doing rainbow in a jar and exploring the density of sugar by making a rainbow in a jar. So I would use a jar like this. So many fun things you can do with material. You know, you might not need to throw it away. Think of creative ways that you can reuse them. All right. Ooh, this looks good. All right, good thing I had lunch already. Eat up. Have you ever put too much food on your plate and then you threw your leftovers away? Make sure when you're, you don't take more food than you can eat. You can always take more when you're finished, but try just to take what you're going to eat. All different kinds of food. If you have old bananas, you can turn them into banana bread. So good. And there's a lot of food delivery out there that sell oddly shaped produce. Like, look at those carrots. You can find oddly shaped produce at a discount. So, and they can deliver them to your home. And then if you want to get rid of some of your canned items, you can always donate them to charity. It says canned or unopened long life food that your family doesn't use can be given to people who need it through a local soup kitchen, food bank, or homeless charity. And your leftovers can be eaten for lunch the next day, which you can put in a glass container. And that's another way to reduce your food waste. Fashion. Oh, we talked about having a clothes swap. There's some clothes that have plastics in them. And so the clothes, even if they're thrown away, they'll take a long time to, they don't really biodegrade. Like polyester is material that's, and it also sheds tiny pieces of plastic called microfibers or microplastics. High fashion, people buy more clothes than they need to keep up with changing fashions. And then you get rid of all the other clothes that you want. So maybe like, I'm just going to buy one thing this month and then give my other. I have a friend who does one in, one out. And she will buy, if she buys like a new jacket, she will donate the other jacket to a thrift store or give it to a friend. So that's one way to like be smart about fashion and then what clothing. Shoes can take 1,000 years to break down. Wow, that's something I didn't know either. It says people throw away lots and lots of clothes before they even wear them, and they don't even wear them much. So be aware of like what you're wearing, and clothes that you don't want anymore can be donated or given to friends or turned into a bag for grocery shopping, depending on what it is. So in 2018, right before this book was published, there were 7.6 billion people on our planet. By the year 2050, it will be home to nearly 10 million. We have the power to decide what kind of world those people will live in. Will we change our habits and start to clean up the mess we have made, or will we continue with our polluting ways? So, we saw the picture of the landfill in part of the book. If we continue to add to the landfills at the same speed we're doing right now, they could grow taller than the Great Pyramids of Egypt. Could you imagine flying around the world and seeing piles of trash from the airplanes? So you want to prevent that from happening. Prevent deforestation. We want to make sure our oceans, we want to not add to the Great Pacific Garbage Patch. For every 1.1 tons of pollution, we create around 10 square feet of Arctic ice melts. So we have the ice melting. We don't want that habitat destroyed for the animals that live up there, as well as, it affects our climate as well. The future, what can we think? And there's a couple of ideas for the future. Maybe we can have a refrigerator that tells us when our food is going to be too old. Would that be cool? And then maybe in the front, it's like a smart refrigerator. It'll tell us what recipe we can make with the remaining items in the refrigerator, so we don't waste any of the food. That would be excellent. I love that idea. We can have more biodegradable clothing made out of cotton fibers that hemp and flax that can be put in the compost heap and biodegrade. And then garbage chutes, especially design chutes that will go out of your house down to wherever they need to be collected to reduce the garbage trucks coming around. And then the emissions from the garbage trucks would be reduced. So a lot of cool ideas for the future. And don't forget, you know, I know there's a lot to take in, a lot is going on in the world, but you have the power to make a difference and to make a change, no matter how old you are. Grown-ups, kids, you can do it. What are some of the things that you could do? Maybe start at your school. You can ask your teachers to make changes to help make less waste at school. I'm probably at school, you already have recycling containers and waste containers. Maybe you can suggest for art class, you can use upcycle materials like toilet paper rolls or paper towel rolls, and plastic, single-use plastic water bottles. And yeah, that's one way you can start. You can email a politician, you know, politicians help make laws. So you write to them and ask them to help the environment by changing the laws. That's another thing that you can do. One of the other ideas on here that's awesome, which I think I'm going to do with my family, is for 1 week, collect all your family's plastic waste. And then at the end of the week, go through the waste and then think of ways that you can use plastic-free items from the items that you used. Maybe swap those items out with maybe glass or metal, and not use as much plastic. So I think that's a great way to be, maybe not plastic-free, but maybe like 90 or 80% plastic-free. It's a good start. And then one of the things that you can do is organize a litter picking day. Every September, there's a major beach cleanup that happens across the world. I know with my family, we participate every September. The Surfrider Foundation does a beach cleanup, and we love doing that and helping. So you can organize a cleanup with your friends, join a group. Not just September, we go to the beach and walk our dog. Maybe some of you have dogs as pets, or my dog loves the beach. So we go to the beach, you know, a couple of times a month, and we bring a bag with us. And then each of us, there's 4 of us, we just comb the beach as we're walking, enjoying and talking. But we also notice anything that looks like plastic and not a non-natural beach item, and we pick it up and put it in a bag and throw it away. So that's something you can just incorporate in your daily lives, and the beach looks so much better, and we all feel better after we've picked up all of those plastic items from the beach. And so at the end of this book, Jess French has written ways to get involved. Like if you want to do more, if you're inspired, you can, she lists a bunch of different organizations and charities that you can donate to, or organizations that you can join to make a difference. The cool thing about these books at the library is these nonfiction books is at the end of nonfiction books, there's so many resources. And there's an index, and then there's a glossary as well, which I don't have in the presentation today, but Jess French, if there's some words that you might not know, like what is a natural resource, or what is a microplastic, she listed all of the definitions. So if you want to check this book at the library, we have several copies if you'd like to do that. I'm going to stop sharing. So that's What a Waste by Jess French. What a great book. And that we only went through half of the book. It is filled with so many. She has a table of contents at the beginning. So these type of books with all this information have a table of contents, and then you can go straight to the section that you want to. Like there's an electronic waste section. There's a space waste section that we didn't talk about. So really, really great book to check out if you ever want to stop by Palo Alto Library. One of the librarians can help you find it. So we're going to do one of the things that I do for story time. We're going to sing a song together. I will sing and you're welcome to sing at home, or you can just listen if you want to listen along. But
I'm going to take them back out.
okay. I'm happy to be here. I'm so glad that Dennis invited me to be part of this wonderful program. And one song that we sing at story time is called If You're Happy and You Know It. So at home, you can follow along. I have my ukulele and I play during story times.
If you're happy and you know it, what do you do?
Well, we're going to clap your hands like this. Here, I'll demonstrate. I can't do stomp. Clap your hands. Stomp your feet, stomp, stomp, and shout, hooray! Because we're so happy that we're learning about sustainability and how to protect our earth. There's only one earth, right? We want to keep it safe and protected and beautiful. We're going to sing a song called If You're Happy. Well, let me come a little closer. Ready? If you're happy and you know it, if you're happy and you know your hands, know it. Stomp your feet. If you're happy and you stomp your feet. Know it. If you're happy and you know it's your hooray. If you're happy, know within your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it's your hooray. Okay, we're gonna do all three. Are you ready? If you're happy and you know it, 2 or 3. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, 2 or 3. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp. Hooray! If you're happy and you know it, then your face will surely show it. If you're happy and you know it, 2 or 3. Clap, clap, stomp, stomp. Hooray! All right. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you for singing it with me along at home if you did.
Hooray.
Thank you so much.
Librarian Alicia, I understand what they're all been talking about. Thanks very much for reading.
Of course.